Welcome to Intersection Conversations, the show where we dive into the ever-evolving world of workplace diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're exploring the roots of our prejudices, this sense of primacy. Although many of our biases are not our fault, we will discuss ways we can begin to take cognitive control of those prejudices and biases. The primacy of race. Racism is often rooted in or sustained by concepts of primacy and supremacy intertwining with historical, social, and psychological factors. The term browning of America refers to the demographic trend in the United States where the proportion of non-white individuals, particularly those of Hispanic or Latino, Asian, and African American descent, is increasing. This shift is due to various factors, including higher birth rates in these communities and immigration patterns. The term encapsulates the changing complexion of the American populace, moving away from a majority white population to one that is more racially and ethnically diverse. The development of racial anxiety. This discussion can provoke anxiety among some segments of the white population who may feel that their cultural or societal primacy is threatened. This anxiety can manifest as resistance to demographic change, increased support for restrictive immigration policies, or a rise in nationalist sentiment. Here's how the notion of primacy can be related to the perpetuation of racism. One, historical primacy and narrativity. Historically, certain races were deemed superior or first in terms of civilization, culture, or development. These narratives of primacy were used to justify colonization, slavery, and other forms of oppression. The idea that one race was first in terms of development or civilization implicitly positioned other races as a lesser or behind, fostering a hierarchy based on race. Two, take primacy in social and cultural norms. In many societies, the norms, values, and standards that are considered normals or default are those of the dominant racial group. This can lead to a form of primacy where the experiences, behaviors, and cultural expressions of the dominant group are given precedence and are seen as the standard against which all others are measured. This not only marginalizes other racial groups, but also implicitly suggests a form of supremacy of one race over others. Three, primacy and perception and bioprimacy effect as it relates to perception and memory can contribute to racial biases. For instance, if the first information a person receives about a particular racial group is negative stereotypes, media portrayal, etc., that information can have a lasting impact on how individuals perceive members of that group. This can lead to the formation and reinforcement of racist attitudes and behaviors. Four, reticence to change inequality efforts. Just as the primacy effect can make it challenging, change first impressions or initial information, it can also make it difficult to alter established racial hierarchies and norms. Efforts to promote racial equality and justice can be met with resistance because they challenge the primacy of the established racial order. By primacy in institutional structure, institutions often reflect and perpetuate the racial hierarchies and norms of the broader society. Policies, practices, and procedures that were established early in an institution's history may reflect the racial biases of those times. Even if not overtly racist, these early established norms can continue to disadvantage certain racial groups, demonstrating how the primacy of certain practices or policies can sustain racial inequities. Understanding the relationship between primacy and racism is crucial in DEIA work. It involves recognizing how historical narratives, social norms, and institutional structures can perpetuate racial hierarchies and biases. Addressing these issues requires a conscious effort to question and dismantle the established norms and values that sustain racial inequities and to promote a more inclusive, equitable, and just society. If you appreciate our approach diving into the roots of personal bias and other social reform topics with intellectual rigor and empathy, make sure to subscribe for future series released every month. And please subscribe and share so we can continue to empower you to use your voice. See you in our next series as we continue conversations, equipping you with tools to challenge patterns that are enabling oppression through unconscious bias and prejudice. Be well.